Welcome to the Season 5 premiere of AfterMat. I am your host, the People's Champ Cal, and alongside me as always, I have my tag team partner, the glamorous Anjulie. What's going on, Anjulie?
Hello. The Monday after Wrestlemania Backlash this time.
Yes, that's what
we're not here for it.
That's what we're talking about today, WrestleMania Backlash. First time, they actually made a note of it, the first time they ever used the title WrestleMania, and it's something other than WrestleMania. Though, is that completely true? Because they always talk about the road to WrestleMania, so I don't know. But I guess it's a pay-per-view being named, another pay-per-view being named WrestleMania, other than WrestleMania itself. And this is the Season 5 premiere, so it starts another year of AfterMat, so this is why it's episode 1 of that. Which is kind of weird, because now this is the first time we're actually having a WrestleMania Backlash, so it kind of ties into WrestleMania, which is our season finale. So I don't know how that kind of works for our year, but I guess we'll keep it as usual with this being our new year. What were your thoughts for last night's pay-per-view? Did you enjoy it?
Much like Fastlane, going into it, I didn't have high expectations, just because there wasn't a lot of matches on the card that really got me excited, with the exception of maybe like 2. I will say there wasn't. I don't think I would say there was a like legit terrible. Well, maybe one terrible match on the card. But some of them just had like some lackluster finishes that kind of took away my enjoyment. Not took away my enjoyment of the whole matches, but it just like, oh, that's how we ended it. Okay, but yeah. But it wasn't as bad as I probably expected it to be.
Yeah, I think we've had low expectations, which is kind of weird because I don't think we've had a bad pay-per-view in a while. Like we've been running a good wave of good pay-per-views. So I say that now, and then our next pay-per-view is going to suck really badly. But it's Hell in a Cell, so I don't know how Hell in a Cell could suck. But yeah, I don't know. We've been running a nice wave of good pay-per-views, so we'll see how that goes if it can continue. But like you said, like I didn't really expect much from it. But yeah, it came out to be pretty decent in my opinion as well. So let's start off with the kickoff show, which is for, I don't know, what is he, the U.S. champion? I'm guessing is he the U.S. champion? Let's just say he's the U.S. champion. Is he? Yeah. The U.S. champion, yeah. Sheamus, doing an open challenge, and Ricochet accepted it, and basically what we thought would happen happened. Basically, they feed Ricochet to Sheamus, because I don't think Sheamus is going to lose anytime soon to anybody other than a bigger name than him, I guess, or an up-and-coming name maybe. Which I thought could be Ricochet, but, as we know how they've been treating Ricochet, it hasn't been well. Basically, Sheamus dominated the beginning of the match. As always, the face got a little comeback in, and, Ricochet got some of his high-flying moves off, like a bunch of springboard 450s. He went for his finisher, and I don't think he actually even landed his finisher, but he, got a few moves in until Sheamus got back up, missed the Brogue Kick, but then he ended up hitting a knee for the win. Which is kind of weird. It wasn't even the Brogue Kick. It was just like a knee. That was the second knee that he hit. Ricochet sold it really well, though. Like, even though some of these matches that were kind of weird, there was good selling, and I'm going to get to that later in the evening as well. But yeah, it was just a lackluster match, as you expected from a pre-show. It was, I think, a last-minute decision to make this a match. So, Yeah, Entertainment says Ricochet hasn't won a match in years, which could be true. I don't know. I haven't remember him. I don't remember when a match. I think the last time he won a match was when he was the U.S. champion, I believe. So, yeah, he could be a title holder. I agree with that. I think he's one of the people who should be getting a push, and that he could be the first contender for the that's me in the corner award for next year's AfterMat awards, where we're talking about someone who's underutilized, and I feel like it could be Ricochet, but we'll see. Delisha, your thoughts if you watched? I don't know if you said. I know when you texted me you weren't watching it, but did you go back and watch it?
We had forgotten about the pre-show until today when I was doing prep for the show, and then I realized I missed a match. And no, I did not go back and watch it because I by that time I already known that Sheamus had won, and it's just like, what's the point? And I already knew how they've been treating Ricochet. He's been relegated to having matches on main, having to promote his own matches for main event, which I didn't even realize was still that was still on. But here we are, where we are.
Yeah, I didn't expect much from this match. I mean, it's nice to see Sheamus still as champion, but I like to see Ricochet get a push, but who knows what will happen with him. Our next match was for the Raw Women's Championship, featuring in a triple threat match featuring Charlotte Flair, Asuka, and the Raw Women's Champion Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, so as we know, Backlash traditionally is always about rehashing some feuds that still maybe need some loose ends tied up from WrestleMania. And now we just have actual WrestleMania in the title rather than just being an allusion to uh, a almost like an epilogue of WrestleMania. And this match started off with a rematch of sorts, where we had Asuka versus Rhea one on one versus on WrestleMania. Now we have the addition of Charlotte because we always have to put Charlotte in a title match picture. But this time it wasn't just a random insert. It was like Charlotte going back to her heelish ways to insert herself into the match, which on that part I don't mind because it fits the character. Like that is what this upgraded heel character of Charlotte would do. So that part I didn't mind. But if you were like me, before this match, you were very, very nervous on how they would play this out. But we start off with uh Asuka getting pushed out of the way for a kind of Flair and Rhea square off of a kind of a throwback to last WrestleMania where it was Rhea versus Flair. Just them two just going at it before Asuka and herself back into the equation with a flurry of strikes to Charlotte, and then we see like Rhea and Asuka teaming up onto Charlotte to get her out of the ring, and to so that those two can then go on about their game for one on one. As you see a lot with triple threat matches, you try to eliminate the one person so you can try to make it a one on one fight to get the best option of getting a pinfall, whoever's trying to get the win. But then you can't keep Flair down when she's not in in the title picture. You can't keep her down when you're in a match, and then it would get Rhea out the way to turn on for a Asuka and Charlotte one-on-one kind of fight, so to speak. But Rhea wouldn't be out on the sidelines for too long, as she would come back in as well. Sorry, thought I'd sneeze. um, as I believe it was Oscar who gave both flurry kicks to both Ripley and Flair, to where they would wind up on the outside of the ring, that being Oscar and Rhea, and then Charlotte would give her patented moonsault, as we would call it here, after hitting a suplex on them both to actually it was supposed to put them out the ring to do the moonsault to the outside of the ring. I think she actually did hit this one, so that wasn't too bad as some of the ones we've seen her do in the past. She would then hit the knuckle selection on both of her opponents and trying to get the pinfall on either one, but not getting it. Then Ripley would go for the Riptide on Asuka, but she would counter it. But then later, like literally like 30 seconds later, she hit it again, and she would pin Asuka for the 1, 2, 3 to retain her title ship, giving us all a sigh of relief because all we wanted was for Charlotte not to win. It was a pretty solid match between the three. I mean, these are all three good workers in the ring, so that I wasn't really concerned about that. I was just really concerned on the ending and who would come out as the winner. I'm really glad that Rhea gets the retainer title. I know while some people think she kind of got it abruptly upon her return, almost. I mean, it was a debut, but it was kind of like a return to the Raw roster. I'm glad that she is still gonna be able to keep it a little bit longer because then it just be a waste if you took it off her right after WrestleMania.
But how much longer, right? Because I'm thinking the next pay per view is gonna be Hell in a Cell, Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair. Because obviously Charlotte Flair didn't take the pin because she never does when it's a triple threat match. Because she's only lost like twice, like I said, ever in a pay per view. I mean, consider this is technically a loss, but she wasn't the one who got pinned, right? So what I mean is cleanly only lost like twice, and those were in singles matches against Bayley, I believe. So yeah, maybe Becky. I don't know. Whatever it is, she's only lost like twice. Once against Bayley, once against Becky, or something. Yeah, how long is it gonna last? Right. That's what like I'm saying. Maybe the next pay per view is gonna be Hell in a Cell, them two in the Hell in a Cell, and unfortunately Charlotte's gonna win. However, I could see this going Rhea's way in a way that remember Monster what was it? What's his name? No, was it? The Sub-Zero guy comes out. Mustafa Ali. Mustafa Ali was supposed to get like a big push, right? And then unfortunately he got injured. But fortunately for Kofi, that Kofi like step in, right? And like was he supposed to just be a placeholder or not? But the WWE universe was behind him, so therefore he got a nice good reign, right, for his first ever championship reign. So could we see the same thing with Rhea Ripley, right? Maybe if the WWE universe gets behind her, even though she's playing a heel, right? Heels get over a lot nowadays, especially in this with this fan base. If the fans can get behind her, I feel like she can hold the belt. Now, will they make her like a Stone Cold character where she is the heel that gets beaten by a worse heel in the name of Charlotte Flair, and then she's got to fight her way back to get the championship? That could also work for her as well, as long as they do it right. So, the only way if she loses to Flair and gets to stay in the title picture, kind of like a Stone Cold, that would be awesome. But if she loses to Flair and she's just considered a placeholder, that's going to destroy her character, and I'm going to hate it and be really upset. But this match was very good. I enjoyed it. Like you said, they're all three great workers in the ring. And I'm glad Rhea Ripley won. I had the same feeling as you going in. Like, I was nervous for everything. But thank God Rhea Ripley won. And it was a good match. It was very well done.
Yeah, quick question since we're kind of on the women of Raw right now. Did you happen to catch Raw last week with the Alexa segment at the end of was it a tag match or a one-on-one? One of the matches. Oh no, it was a one-on-one match between Charlotte and Baszler. Did you catch that?
So, you know how I fast forward through Raw until I see Alexa Bliss or someone else I
Yeah.
like? I guess I turned away when Alexa Bliss came up on the screen. I was looking for that segment. And I did not see it. So what happened?
So at the so she came out with Lily to watch the match, saying she had her eyes on someone or something, and uh the end of the match was kind of weird because it's like Shayna in the way the match played out, it's like she tweaked her knee, and that's how Charlotte was able to um get the pin on her. But with the addition of Alexa, at the end of the match, she kind of like stares at everyone with that maniacal laughter of hers. So they're playing fast and loose on who Alexa is actually targeting, and I'm kind of hoping that it is Charlotte because that would take Charlotte out of the title picture and get her. And that's a fresher feud to be that is kind of intriguing to me rather than another title picture Charlotte feud with someone.
So
The other way it could go is that she's for some reason targeting either Nia or Shayna, but they just lost the belts. I don't know how, like, story wise what happened with that. I do feel like Alexa Charlotte would be a little bit more intriguing.
I completely agree with you, and I can see that happening in Hell in a Cell, right? That's the way Rhea Ripley, because obviously Charlotte's never going to lose cleanly, right? We've all know that Charlotte's heel or face, she is never going to lose cleanly, and I hate that. But I feel that she can fight her in Hell in a Cell, fight Rhea Ripley in Hell in a Cell 1-on-1, and Alexa interferes, right, with Lily, and that causes Charlotte to match, which makes Charlotte mad and wants to fight Alexa. However, the bad part about this now, you got to think about the bad thing. Let me just say, The Fiend, right? The Fiend was this all-powerful, supernatural, awesome entity, He got beaten by Goldberg. He got beaten by, I don't know, like everybody. Basically, like he got beaten by everybody. Like it was stupid, right? He lost to Randy Orton at WrestleMania. They just completely destroyed his character. Are they going to do the same thing? If Alexa is targeting Charlotte, she interferes at Hell in a Cell. They start a feud. Is she going to get buried like the Fiend got buried? I hope not. Because all these storylines are super intriguing with the Fiend, and it was with the Fiend, right? Until what happened. But how many times are they going to revitalize the Fiend only to lose at a pay-per-view kind of thing? It's kind of stupid, right?
What I would like to see is that I think, because I forget, I think Dana and what's her name, Mandy Rose was there too. So I think that's kind of 5 women we could play with, like to where we don't exactly know who Alexa's targeting for the next 5 weeks. And then at the Charlotte versus Rhea match, we do see that Alexa was targeting Charlotte. It was Charlotte all along that she was targeting. So that I don't know, I feel like that would be kind of like a sort of like fresh way instead of having Alexa and Charlotte be going back and forth with it for the next 5 weeks. Because sometimes I feel like this Alexa thing, like they could take it too far and it goes stale. To whereas, like when we were getting to that moment between Alexa and Randy, we were like, okay, where is this going? Like they've been prolonging it long enough. So I don't want them to do that for the next 5 weeks between her and Charlotte. So kind of hopefully they play like guess who with who she's targeting, and then the ending result is that she was targeting Charlotte.
Yeah, I agree. Big Tam says that don't blaspheme Bray Wyatt. I'm not. I'm saying that WB is wasting him. And Entertain says it's interesting. He's not sure, but it's interesting that everyone Bray Wyatt beats or the Fiend beats becomes evil, which is kind of cool to see too. I don't mind that. All right.
True. Look, Braun, Alexa, Randy. Well, Braun. I mean, Braun didn't really become evil. He just became a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah. Our next match is for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships against the Dirty Dogs, I think they're called. Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode against the Mysterios, Rey Mysterio, and Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah. So while I did not see the pre-show, they were looking up to see that Dominic had gotten attacked by Roode and Ziggler before the match, or while on the pre-show, to take him out with what looked like a very big couch that was. I don't know exactly what they threw at him, but I think it looked like a very big couch. So right off the bat, we wasn't quite sure were they gonna do 2-on-1 or were they gonna have like a mystery partner type of deal to like help Rey like not have to go by himself. But Rey was like, no, I am a champ. We gonna do this how we do this, and I'm gonna take them on both. And he started off the match with getting really good offense on both Roode and Ziggler, taking them off guard and pushing Roode to the outside and doing a baseball slam, if you want to call it, onto Roode. But of course, when your opponents are basically a tag team, the other one's going to get the upper hand over you pretty soon, and that's quickly what happened. Roode and Ziggler taunting Rey throughout the next maybe 5 minutes that he has no one to tag, and they're doing quick in and outs to get the upper hand, so to speak. But of course, as it is with WWE, when you have my partner got taken out and it's me against these two, the injured partner comes back, Dominic, to get on the ring, injured, but he's injured, and it's also Rey Mysterio's son. So he's got that emotional part where he doesn't want to tag him because he already knows that he hurt and doesn't want to hurt him further. But Rey is busy getting his behind whipped, and he has no choice. But Dominic tags himself in, gives himself his own hot tag because Rey still didn't want to do it. So able to take on Roode and Ziggler himself. Of course, he's the fresh. Maybe not the freshest, but he's a freshman in for our Mysterio team, and he's able to work out the kinks and to be able to get working over. But again, since he is injured, they have to play that up, and Ziggler and Roode still attack his rib or chest area to where they are telling us that he has the damage. But he went out trying to Ziggler went to go and super kick uh, Ray back into the corner again, giving Dominic time to come back in to where Ray would hit the 619. As the commentators would say, at an unusual part of the ring because it was more towards the edge and not the end. I mean, not the middle. I don't know why they tried to make a big deal out of that, but they did. And then Dominic to get the frog splash, although they pointedly called it just the splash, not a frog splash, even though that is what he did. I don't know if it's because he's taller, they didn't want to call it a frog splash. I don't know. But they hit their tandem tag team move, which is Ray hitting the 619 and Dominic coming in for the splash, making them the new SmackDown Tag Team Champions and the first father-son combo to win Tag Team Champions. This wasn't a bad match. It was kind of going to be predictable as they've been touting up until this point of Ray and Dominic potentially being the first father-son duo to win belts. And kind of, when WWE starts trying to make their own history, they love to put in those like nice little history textbook moments. And of course, Rude and Ziggler, they're not bad workers. They're going to put great effort into the ring. I do feel like it was starting to lose the belt because honestly, with them, they didn't really elevate the titles, nor did the titles elevate them either. So I do feel like it was a good choice to put it on the baby faces, so to speak. The ultimate baby face of Rey Mysterio and now Dominic. But like I said, the match was great, and I think it was the right choice to put the titles on. What do you think?
I actually don't mind. I mean, I kind of wanted them to stay as the tag team champions because I liked their tag team maneuvers. They had really good... They looked like an old school tag team. They had great tag team combo moves. Like their hip toss into a... What is it? Like a back... Well, hip toss into like a spinebuster / like neck breaker. Like, it was really cool, the moves that they pulled off. So that's why I really liked it. They kind of reminded me of like an old school tag team. And there's not much to do for Ziggler and Rude. So keeping them as a tag team was great to see. And keeping them as champions would have been awesome. Good for them, Ray and Dominic, for winning the thing. It was a good match. I enjoyed it. I liked his Ray's baseball slide into a sunset flip power bomb into the barricade on Ziggler. I think it was at the end, right before Dominic hit the frog splash, if you want to call it that. It was a very bad one. Not as bad as Sasha Banks usually does, but it was pretty bad. Which makes you kind of wonder if we took for granted like how well Eddie Guerrero did it, and if not even better, Rob Van Dam did it even better, because Rob Van Dam would like contort his body like sideways. He'd go like, if the person's like diagonal, that like, if someone's doing an off the top move, it's kind of like a team thing where like, if like let's say Eddie Guerrero's fighting Kurt Angle has to angle him, no pun intended, has to angle himself properly. Like you'll see him like, you'll kind of see like, why is the heel moving, or why is the guy on the ground moving? But obviously it's to help the person on the top rope to land the move better, position it better, right? You didn't really have to do that for RVD. RVD, wherever the person was, RVD would try to find. He's like a lock-on missile, like a homing missile. Like he'd jump and contort his body in air while still doing the frog splash mannerisms and hit him. So I think no one will do it better than RVD, even though Eddie Guerrero attributed to that move. I think no one's gonna be better than RVD at that move. But yeah, so
I'll watch it again because I do think that Montez Ford. I don't think his is a true frog splash though. He has a good. Whoops. No, I just realized my camera went out. Yeah. Am I back?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I have to watch it again because I don't think it's a true frog splash. But when it comes to athleticism, I think he is probably like the next like RVD, like in Montez, like right there.
I want to see like a 450 frog splash, like a 450 into a frog splash and hit it, or does something?
They might have to be at a higher height to be.
Well, people like Ricochet can jump that high. There's like some people who jump that, like Evan Bourne.
No, I'm just talking about in terms of execution, because of how from mat to apron to like they really have to get high so they can get the full 440 and then so they can contort their body. I don't know.
I think he can do it. But yeah, anyway, who cares? We're talking.
Life, so I can't. I'm an expert.
So congratulations to Ray and Dominic. Before we move on, I have one last question for you. Has not to do with this match, but it does have to do with tag team. And you mentioned the match prior to this. Natalia and Tamina are now the women Raw. No, just the women's champion, right? Women's tag team champion.
Yeah.
And they set history. What history did they set? Why is everything history setting? I don't understand. Is it they're the oldest tag team to win a women's tag? Like what? There's only like 3 women's tag team champions, right? So like, what is their like? It said history was
Maybe
made.
they're the first. Are they second or third generation?
Second.
Maybe
generation.
they're the first, whatever, second or third generation, women's tag team. I don't know.
If we nitpick like that, I mean, first, second, okay, that's not that bad. I guess not that bad, but I'm sure they're the oldest tag team to hold it too as well. I would bet.
Women's side for sure.
Yeah, women's side. I mean, but we're just like it's gonna be like no first person to buy a stick of bubble gum to win the championship like prior like like it's gonna be end up being stuff like that, which is gonna be really annoying. But whatever. Good for them. Good for them. Good for Dominic and Ray. Moving on to Damian Priest versus The Miz in a lumberjack match, which is already a gimmick match, but this wasn't even a match itself. It was a gimmick match. Because the lumberjacks were zombies that were provided by Batista and his friends at Army of the Dead. Yes, you heard that right. I'm not joking. This is all true, what I'm saying. But yeah, so that is what we have. And tell me why the zombies come out and then they can't penetrate the ring ropes at the beginning of throughout the entirety of the match. Apparently the ring ropes have a magical barrier around them, so the zombies can't penetrate. If you've watched The Walking Dead, if you watched any zombie show, movie, zombies are pretty aggressive and they'll come after you. So why can't they penetrate the ring ropes? Can someone explain that to me? I don't know. Anyway, I digress. There was a match somewhere in there. Nothing really much happened. Miz and Priest kind of fought each other for a while. Then they got to the outside and they got scared, came back in. Then Priest started fighting the zombies on the outside, got back in. They fought each other for a little bit as well. Then they both fell to the outside. I forgot to mention Morrison ran away at the beginning of the match because of the zombies. He was scared. Then they got to a point where Priest and Miz both teamed up to fight the zombies on the outside until one giant zombie came. Priest did like a enziguri or step up enziguri, whatever you're calling it. But yeah. Finally got back into the ring after teaming up. Miz wants to go for a high five. Priest hits him. Eventually Morrison comes back. And this was probably the highlight of the match. Morrison doing crazy stuff like enziguris. He did like his spinning capoeira move. Like he did a capoeira kick on the outside to Damian Priest. Morrison was the highlight of the match. Like his acting on the outside, his moves on the outside. Nothing in the ring enthralled me except for Morrison's stuff on the outside. Morrison eventually got eaten by 2 zombies, allegedly. Priest hit his finisher. Nobody knows what it's called, but I'm pretty sure it's just his sister Abigail. And he got the win. And then he left. Couldn't even celebrate. Oh, he did this. I like the bow thing that he does at the beginning. When he does it, he launches at the screen. Unfortunately, it wasn't timed well because he did it. Then the music hit. Like the beat dropped and the thing lit up. He was like a second ahead of time. Or 2 seconds off beat. So I wasn't happy with that. But the time he did it inside the ring when he first came in and hit the ceiling of the underbelly of the Titantron or whatever you want to call that thing in the middle, that hit well. And then at the end he did the Army of the Dead thing. That was cool as well. So Damian Priest won. And then now the magical barrier falls. All the zombies come in and they eat the Miz. Your thoughts, Alicia?
Yeah. So his finishing move was called the Reckoning. And then they changed it to Hit the Lights, which sounds stupid. But the match, honestly, I wasn't really paying much attention to what was going on in the ring because, like you said, John Morrison was kind of stealing the show on the outside of the ring. And I don't remember who the person was on Twitter, but someone said that the zombies were the best lumberjacks ever in the WWE because they followed all the rules.
Yeah.
Of like not getting involved with anyone actively while they were in the ring. So I thought that one was funny.
They did reach out a few times though.
Yeah. I didn't quite like the gimmick of this gimmick match. Because it really just came out of nowhere to promote Batista / Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead movie, which from my understanding I don't think they alluded to in any weeks up to this show. Like, if they had kind of been promoting it a little bit beforehand, this would have made more sense. But it seems to come out of nowhere. So
it was on the website. Because you see how I had the thumbnails here? They had it all over the website. Like,
I don't need to. I don't want to do extra homework by going to WWE's website to know about a movie that they are helping promote. Uh, one segment or one commercial in the last 2 weeks, or a segment from Batista just saying, "Hey, check out my new movie and hitting theaters and yada yada," like they've done before. Like so, if you don't go to the WWE website like me and you just watch the shows, you have no idea why this match was set up the way that it was, and that is where I have my issue. Is that on a production level, um, it didn't make sense.
yeah.
But I already went in here knowing Damon Priest was going to win because they're trying to put him over, and they're actually sowing the seeds already for Morrison and Miz to break up. So I'm kind of like, let's end this and let's go to these separate diverting storylines so we can get back on track.
They don't need to break up. I don't think they need to break up to progress the story for the at least for the Miz. Miz and Morrison can do anything and nail it. I feel they don't need to break up. They can stay together. Are they gonna fight each other? Maybe that's gonna be stupid. We don't need to see that because we've seen that before as well.
WWE hates friendship, so yes, they're going to break up.
Keep them together. They're fun to watch. And then yes, break up this storyline of Priest and Miz and piece of trash bag from WrestleMania. All right. Next match was for the Women's SmackDown Championship, featuring the SmackDown's Women's Champion Bianca Belair against the challenger Bayley.
So this was one of the two matches that I was really looking forward to, because if you guys been watching for a while, you know I love my stories, and they've built this up since the end of WrestleMania to now for a really nice feud. And we kind of hadn't really seen Bayley do much outside of being that like annoying heel with her talk show segment, which I think have been very entertaining. But they haven't really had her in the ring much since then. So seeing her mixed up with Bianca Belair, I knew this was going to be fun. But in the beginning of the match, you would see Bayley struggling to try to combat her wrestling style with the strength of Belair. We kind of see that we kind of saw that similar to with Sasha and Bayley at WrestleMania as well, and Bayley would also kind of do a tactic that Sasha used at WrestleMania 2 that will also be her detriment as well later on in the match. But in a way for Bayley to combat Belair's strength, we'll just quickly get in rhythm and almost making it seem like we're gonna have a short night with the champ. But soon she would tackle her out to the outside of the ring and not doing not a German a suplex onto the ground, and then getting her back in the ring trying to do a quick 2 count, but that would not get her the win. Bayley would keep keeping up the pressure, alternating between like attacking her with several strikes as trying to keep Belair down on the mat so she could not get up to do any first strength moves. But where she would start to mess up is that she started taunting her, much like Sasha did at WrestleMania, by repeatedly calling her rookie and pretty much, saying you don't belong here. Like, I'm your role model of this division, and yada yada yada. But that would not deter Belair, or only fire her up, much like it did before. To swing wildly at Bayley, and while she's trying to continue to taunt her and then try to get these quick pins. Bayley would then try to use Sasha's hair again to her advantage, even doing like a ripcord, like more like pulling Bella's hair into a Bayley to belly, which almost got her the win, but not quite until we got to this where I mentioned earlier, this awkward finish where Belair, sorry, the bees are mixing me up. Belair, Bayley, but Belair would sort of like wrap her, or try to wrap her braid around Bayley's leg while she had her in a leg lock, I believe. But I don't know if it was like a camera angle or just an awkward way that they were laying. You didn't quite understand what exactly she was doing. And then apparently Bayley tapped out, and then Bianca retained, which is great. Overall, there really was a great match. I really do think these two have really good chemistry together. But with that awkward finish, you're like, what just happened? and it really was left on to the commentators to say what happened. But I don't think these two are done as Bailey got out the ring. Again, taunting Michael Cole, which is her favorite thing to do as well. Writing on his sheet saying, Pelly to win. So even though Bailey lost, she's still coming out in an entertaining way with this role model heel persona of hers. So I don't think these two are done. Some way, somehow, Bailey will work her way back into the title picture, and we'll get to see these two go at it again, hopefully with a more cleaner looking finish. But did you enjoy this match?
Yeah.
Could you see what she was doing?
Yeah. No, I think I saw. I don't think it was a tap. I think she rolled her up in a pin and rolled it like to prevent her from kicking out. She tied her hair, but kind of got botched at the end. So I understand what she was trying to do. It kind of got botched because kind of like Bailey was struggling at the same time. But yeah, that's what was happening. And Belair's been growing on, like I've been saying, she's been growing on me week to week. Well, not week to week. I should say pay-per-view to pay-per-view since I don't watch week to week. I love her mannerisms in the ring, like the hair. As much as I hate her hair, I love how she comes in like just like does like that stuff. Like I love that. Like I love her mannerisms. But I hate her hair, dude. Like get rid of that hair because even though she used it well against Sasha with the whip at the end of the match, and of course to tie Bailey up here, I think it's just a hindrance and it's annoying to watch and see in the ring. Also, fix her eyelashes. Her eyelashes have been falling out 2 pay-per-views in a row, and that she's been like that, like during matches and stuff. That kind of looks stupid. So yeah, that's two things. But nothing against her abilities. She's got amazing abilities in the ring. She continues to impress me, and I can't say enough about Bailey either. Like we were saying about the AfterMat Awards, how Bailey and Sasha have been carrying the women's division on SmackDown for the last year. Bailey's continuing it ever since she's been the champion for 384 days, whatever she was. Her character has been terrific. I love her, like, hello, what is it? Hello, knock, knock, or knock, knock, hello, or whatever it's called.
Ding dong,
ding dong, hello. And her Michael Cole thing, I love those. And I loved how she acted. Like, I love her heel persona. It's so much better than the hugger persona. I mean, that's great for kids and fans, face fans. But her as a heel is so much more fun to watch. And I might go on a prediction here. I don't know if this has happened yet, but I think Bianca Belair will be the first person to individually beat the 4 horsewomen. Not like Rousey and them, but I mean like Bailey, Sasha, Becky, and Charlotte. I think Bianca Belair, I'm saying it now, will be the first. I don't think it's happened, right? I'm not talking about them beating each other because obviously Bailey can't beat herself. Maybe she can. She'll find a way. But I mean, the first woman. Has Asuka done it? I don't think so because Asuka loses everybody at
no, because
she lost to Charlotte. Yeah, she lost to Charlotte at WrestleMania. So yeah. I think Bianca Belair will be the first woman to beat the 4 horsewomen, as in like the NXT horsewomen, not the UFC horsewomen. And that's what I think. So we'll see. But yeah, I really enjoyed this match.
Would you count you mean in any one-on-one capacity?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Because
not like an evening gown match or like a swimsuit match. I mean like a regular
they're not
wrestling.
Gonna go back to that. For sure.
Hey, you never know. It's TV 14 now.
Yeah, I was thinking. I don't want this to happen, but I was thinking about Survivor Series, to where because I don't think they may or I don't think they're going to include NXT again this year. They might still keep it Raw versus SmackDown. But that would be.
I don't mean team based. Like if the champion versus champion, right? Champion versus champion.
They would normally do. They would have it would be.
Her versus Charlotte.
Versus Raw.
Yeah. So yeah,
like I said,
she could beat Becky on the way to Survivor Series, right? Becky makes her comeback, and she beats. They might fight at SummerSlam, and she beats Becky at SummerSlam to retain the SmackDown Women's Championship, and then she'll fight Charlotte at Survivor Series 1-on-1 and beat Charlotte at Survivor Series, therefore beating all 4 horsewomen, and in a calendar year as well.
Yeah, but isn't Becky still a Raw? Talent though?
I don't know any brands. So, and when did that ever matter in this, right? Didn't Randy Orton fight like Bray Wyatt for like?
I mean, that's true. But yeah, well, depending on when she returns, she could return and be drafted to SmackDown.
Yeah, isn't the Superstar Shakeup coming up? It's usually right after WrestleMania, right? So.
Yeah, sometimes either summer or early fall, but they are a lot of times now, a lot of the husband and wives or couples are able usually to stay together. So that's why I was
Oh,
thinking she might get dropped on the SmackDown.
yeah. There you go. There you go. So, saying it now.
Yeah,
You heard it here
especially if
first.
they're going to start returning to the touring schedule in the fall. So
You heard it here first. The next match was for the WWE Championship, featuring the WWE in a triple threat match featuring the WWE Champion Bobby Lashley against Braun Strowman against Drew McIntyre, and this started out with kind of a semi-alliance between Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley because they wanted to beat the bigger man Braun Strowman. They were able to take him out for a little while with and hit a double suplex. Then obviously what's gold can never last, or whatever's good, everything good must come to an end, right? Their duo ended, their tag team or whatever they call it, their team up ended, and Lashley and McIntyre started fighting each other, and then I think Braun Strowman tried to interject another time, but Lashley's spine busted him. Strowman got back into the ring again, started fighting Lashley, and actually threw him into the steel step outside the ring, threw him into the steel steps. And then Braun Strowman was sent over the barricade a few seconds after that by oncoming Claymore from Drew McIntyre. McIntyre and Lashley fought up the way of the ramp throughout the Thunderdome pretty much. And then when they got to the top of the ramp, McIntyre kept throwing Lashley against the LED lights and the LED walls. And so you know what was going to happen. Eventually Bobby Lashley threw an LED wall. Sparks went off and all crazy stuff like that. And pretty much Bobby Lashley was out for the rest of the match. Strowman, when McIntyre went to go look just to make sure Lashley was out, he turned around. Strowman's right there. Strowman started blindsiding him and destroying him. They got back into the ring, and Strowman kind of dominated. He actually had a senton, which surprised looked good. And Drew McIntyre kicked out, and then Drew hit a Michinoku driver, which is surprising to see on a big guy like Braun Strowman, and also hit a belly to belly as well. So Drew is strong, and Braun has been working very well with him. So that's been looking really good. And then, this is on the outside belly to belly suplex. Drew went for another Claymore on Strowman. As he's flying, Strowman caught him, which is really cool, and slammed him, powered him to the table, which is very well done. Not botched at all, which I was expecting to see a super botch there from Strowman. But no, he actually did it really well, very clean. They went back into the ring. Strowman almost got the pin. Then, I guess he tried to go for the, whatever his finisher, the running power slam is called. Drew McIntyre wriggled out of it, hit the Claymore, went for the pin, but before he can get to the pin, all of a sudden Lashley comes into the ring, throws Drew McIntyre out, and gets the pin. Oh, at first he hits the spear, and then gets the pin. So Bobby Lashley is retained, which is great to see. As long as Strowman didn't win, I was happy. But what I never understand is you're a WWE athlete, right? You get thrown out of the ring. It's going to take you more than 3 seconds to get back into the ring, especially when you're on that adrenaline of almost winning the match, right? Hitting your finisher and then going for the pin. Why are they out of the ring for, unless like you throw them out of the ring and then go after them and throw them into the steel steps, that can make sense. But just being thrown out of the ring, then Bobby Lashley was able to hit a spear and then get the pin. So that's a good 5 to 6 seconds. No. I didn't like that. But, whatever. As long as Strowman didn't win, I was happy. Even though Strowman's getting better in the ring, he's fun to watch, he's in great shape. His mic his mic skills need a lot of work. I feel he needs a mouthpiece, but we'll see what happens with him. What do you think?
yeah, this was probably the match I was least interested the most. Mainly, biggest reason being Braun Strowman, because I don't, much like you, don't particularly care for him. I think WWE did not strike soon enough when the heat for him, well, not heat, the wanting of him was iron hot, as WWE is known to do, so that's not really surprising. But I also didn't want to see Bobby versus McIntyre one-on-one so soon after Mania. But this match surprised me by being as good as it was for the people who were in the ring, doing the big guy stuff that we expect, and then doing some other offensive moves or defensive moves that we don't really expect from some of these bigger guys, or the ones who are just more known for their strength. With Drew McIntyre with some wiggle room, he can do a lot more technical stuff as well. But I did enjoy the match, and I do think it was right to let Bobby keep his title. He's going on a tear right now through, well, some of the top tier players, I should say. But it's time for a new challenger. I would prefer to see him go against maybe a smaller guy now, so that we can kind of have that, oh my gosh, are they actually going to do it type of um match. Not necessarily like a David Goliath thing that they always try to do, but just someone not in the
Like a Matt Riddle.
200 plus muscle. Yeah, a Riddle would be cool. I mean, they definitely wouldn't do it like now, but I was like, even seeing him versus Ricochet or
It's not
just
gonna
someone.
Ricochet. It's not
That's
gonna.
why I said it. Oh yeah, that's SmackDown anyway. Or
Oh no,
a
I didn't
Ricochet.
even know that. I was just saying they wouldn't do Ricochet because he'd lose anyway. He'd step into the ring and lose the match. Like,
Oh no. All right, that's Raw. He's still on Raw. Anyway, no, I meant like of that caliber. Someone different.
I honestly can't name anybody on the Raw roster between. Oh, wait, this is the Raw, right? Yeah. I can't name anyone on the Raw roster besides these three guys. So.
And there is the issue because they don't build up their stars. I mean, heck, I don't think he deserves it right now, but I will take Damian Priest versus Lash just because it'd be something new. But
It's probably gonna be returning Keith Lee maybe, which I think it's too soon as well, but maybe.
yeah, yeah, and then I would rather him go after Sheamus anyway, because that was the original plan for him to get that title. So have him take out. But Sheamus is doing really well too with the belt.
Yeah.
So it seems.
I wouldn't mind seeing a Dominic Dijakovic versus Keith Lee again in the Raw roster though, because that would, because not everyone saw their fights in NXT. I only saw their third one, so not everyone knows how good that their battle was. So if they could see how, and that would elevate both those people, right? I don't know what's going on with the Hurt Business or whatever. They took off their masks. I mean like. What their business is with the Hurt Business, even though they're not the Hurt Business anymore. But at the end, you saw Mustafa Ali lose his control over Retribution, I think their name is, and Dominic Dijakovic and Dio, I think the guy's name is, right? Dio Madden, maybe, I don't know, took off their masks, and now they're not. I don't know, but whatever it is, that'd be cool to see as well. But yeah, this is a good match. Like I agree with you. Like, and I would like to see Bobby Lashley fight somebody else because I feel this carousel is getting old now. So. As much as I love seeing Drew McIntyre in the big picture, I want to see Drew McIntyre fight someone like Jinder Mahal. I think that would be a great feud. Because Jinder Mahal left as a big-time heel, right? A great champion heel. And now he's getting his stable going. I think that would be a good fight against McIntyre. And just don't let Jinder win. I mean, I know McIntyre's been losing a lot lately, but let Jinder win like the first one and then have the next two go to McIntyre or something like that. Don't just bury Jinder's comeback already, you know? So I think that would be a good feud. Our final match of the evening is for the Universal Championship. We're featuring the Universal Champion, Roman Reigns, against Cesaro. And this was probably one of the matches I was looking forward to because obviously I love Cesaro. You know, normally Delicia's covering Roman Reigns, but when I saw Cesaro in a championship match, I was like, oh man, I love Cesaro so much. I gotta cover it. And this match didn't disappoint because it started out with a test of strength. Kind of, it was more of a lockup, but it wasn't like the old school test of strength with the hands. It was more of a lockup, and they both powerhouses moved back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then, you know, Sheamus came out like, I'm not sure. Oh my god, the bar is always getting to me. Cesaro came out like a house of fire. He put Roman Reigns on his heels in the beginning of the match. Like really, like he was so aggressive because you expect that, the adrenaline to be in your first championship match, and in the main event, you know, it was huge for him, and he really put Roman Reigns back, and Roman Reigns took it really well. But being the shrewd heel that he is, and having the shrewd manager that he has, Paul Heyman told him, "Hey, listen, man, do it at your pace." And this is something Skye's always been saying that works towards Roman's promos, how they've been getting better, is because Skye's always said that you know, he can't go tit for tat with those great mic people like you know, Randy Orton and John Cena. Like, he's always struggling because he's trying to be one up them in cleverness. The Miz, but he can't do that. Seth Rollins, he can't do that. I'm saying the Roman Reigns can't do that against those people I named. But Skye pointed out that when Roman Reigns has a slow, methodical approach to his promos, they're more deep and powerful, and I agree with that. I mean, granted, his promos lately have been about his family and how it's more of his culture and the head of the table kind of thing. So it's easy for him because it's natural character. But I have to give it to him. He's been cutting great promos lately and been acting it really well. And everything's been good about his character, his heel persona. And that's what Paul Heyman told him. Hey, dictate the pace. Do what you do. And he did that. And he started breaking down Cesaro's momentum slowly. And by doing that, he also injured Cesaro's right arm, I believe. And kept working on it. But he wasn't able to finish Cesaro. Cesaro was tenacious and he was persistent. He wasn't going to give up because this was his one chance that he's always wanted. And this made Roman Reigns upset because this guy would not give up. So he went for a Superman punch to finish it off, but Cesaro hit an uppercut instead, like his beautiful uppercuts that he usually hits, his European uppercuts. And he started hitting that over and over and over. And then that kind of re-energized him. And he fought back with all his heart, threw Roman to the outside, hit a corkscrew plancha to the outside, and just destroyed Roman, like, with all his, like, whatever's left in his gas tank. He used it all on Roman, you know? Went for a top rope crossbody, hit that as well. 1, 2, Roman kicks out. And then it just wasn't enough because eventually Roman was able to get back into the game, start working on that arm, and... But one last gas for Cesaro. He went for his neutralizer, right? Unfortunately, the arm that Roman worked on the entire match proved to be his downfall, and he couldn't hit the neutralizer. Roman hit the Superman punch, I think, right after that, and then went for a guillotine. And Cesaro got out, but then was put back into the guillotine, and the ref stopped it. Like, he choked him out. And this is what I'm talking about selling. I don't know if he really meant to sell this, but his head turned red. His head was like pinkish purple, like he was being choked out. And after the referee called for the bell, Roman retained because of a choke out or whatever you want to call it. Cesaro went and like came back, like he gasped, like he came back to consciousness, and that was a good sell in my opinion. Like Cesaro lived in the spotlight for the time that he had. Like he really did a great wrestling match. He did great selling of all the injuries that he had, and especially at the end, that was my favorite part when he came back to consciousness. That is, no one's done that yet. I don't think, because I think Daniel Bryan was choked out as well. Other people were choked out, and that was a great sell. And before I wrap up with this match, I forgot to mention that something you said earlier. I just remembered because I said Daniel Bryan, because Edge should be champion right now. Because remember, Edge is put on top of Daniel Bryan. And then Roman Reigns go back to the Asuka match with them. Charlotte laid both when she did the natural selection on both Rhea Ripley and Asuka. She laid them both next to each other and laid over both of them to pin both. Didn't put one over the other because she knew better. Anyway, yeah. And after that ended, Cesaro, James came out and like put the little like beads on Roman Reigns. Saying like you're the head of the table, you know, you're the big dog, you deserve this. And then he's like, let me get some of that. And then he started attacking. Jace Uso started attacking Cesaro. Was about to go for a splash off the top, but then someone's music hit, ends up being Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins comes out, stands face to face with Roman Reigns, laughs, and then starts beating up Cesaro. Puts his arm into the chair, slams his arm, the already injured arm, into the turnbuckle with the chair locked in on it. And that's just how... Oh, then he also hit a stomp on it, and that's how the evening ends. I don't know why all that happened. I mean, I guess they had a feud prior to that. I know that happened on SmackDown or whatever, but I just don't see why it still continued. I don't know. But your thoughts, Alicia?
Yeah, this was a fantastic match. And if you weren't aware of how much work Cesaro can put in a wrestling match, I hope that you were brought to the light with this match. As you can continue to see why he is championed so much in the back by the people in the back and by the fans, because he just puts so much effort into his matches and trying to be the best wrestler or that he could be to really be the most top tier. And I do hope when it's all said and done, like at some point, because of course I don't think Reigns is going to have the belt forever. But you never know. But I do hope that they remember this and that he gets championed a little bit more. I want him, like we talked about last paper, we do want him to see with the belt because he really could be a face for this company because he's just that good. Um, but actually, I don't know. I don't know why they wouldn't do that, but because he was great. Um, and yeah, I'm not exactly sure why we go back to the Rollins feud. Um, I don't know. I mean, I'm still intrigued because that was a brutal attack. So you want to see the retaliation from Cesaro. Uh, so I don't know. I'm intrigued. And as Entertainment was saying, he did like Seth Rollins' suit. He is continuing to just like have like the loudest suit that he could find to because you love it or you hate it. And right now I'm still on the love it train.
It was probably
But yeah,
it was probably a white soup, but then the baby like just threw stuff all over it, the food.
that could be right. Well, then the baby got skills because he made it work. Or, but yeah, I'm curious to see how they can still keep Cesaro in that upper echelon, tier because that's where he deserves to be.
Yeah, he deserves a championship, at least one. I mean, like the top tier championship. There's other people who I agree, who I believe should also have one last shot at the championship or one last title reign, and I will name a few of them. Kane, for one, even though he's inducted to the Hall of Fame. Mark Henry, another, who's also inducted to the Hall of Fame, and Big Show. Those are three people I'd like to see as champion before they die. I probably will never see it, but hey, let's at least give that to Cesaro. That's what I hope to see. It was a good match, though. Now, to bring us to our finishers, is Joe with us? Is our fact checker back?
No, he has not returned. He went to go vote. So.
Okay. All right, so Felicia, we'll start with you then. Your low point, your high point, and your overall grade.
While it had its entertaining moments, I'm gonna give it to that zombie match because most of it I was taken out of it because I was too busy focusing on Morrison, and that should have not been the takeaway because it was a match that we should have been focusing on the match, and my focus should always be on the Miz, and it wasn't, and that's a shame. High point, I'm gonna give it to Reigns versus Cesaro because it just was a damn good match, and they really delivered on it on being the main event that it was serving on a show that on paper did not look that it like it would be satisfying. And for that reason, overall, I think I'm gonna give it a maybe a B minus because while all the matches had fun or good elements to it, some of it kind of dropped the ball and or had some weird finishes, and I just kind of took me out of it a little bit. So overall, I will give it a B minus. Uh, Not great, but not like mediocre to terrible.
And welcome, Slaterman. Slaterman just joined us. Yeah, for me, low point. I agree with you. Was the zombie lumberjack match? Like I said, like I did the Morrison part was the best part. I don't understand.
I was gonna say a zombie lumber match might have been even better.
I don't understand why they didn't come in the ring until the end, which made no sense. But whatever. Hey, the Morrison was the best part of it. High point would have to be the Cesaro Roman Reigns match. I didn't see any fault with that. It was very well played out match. It was probably the greatest wrestling match of all time. No, it wasn't that. Because I'm just saying, like, the way that it told a story, like, and I know you love your stories, but it showed the passion that Cesaro had, all his pent-up aggression for all the years he wanted. Then it goes to, like, the psychological aspect of Paul Heyman saying, hey, look, this is the way you gotta do it. Do it at your pace. Roman Reigns embracing that advice, using it, showing the fight back of the face, last ditch effort, and then pretty much a clean finish, right? There wasn't like anything like we always see Jey Uso come in and ruin something. This is a clean finish. Like, it was great to see, and the choke out at the end was amazing. And then obviously Cesaro selling it after the fact was even better. So that has to be one of the best things I've seen in a long time for a single match. Like, it just told waves of everything. The last time I got that excited about a match was probably the when Kofi almost beat Daniel Bryan in the Elimination Chamber. That, like, I had the high, like, I was actually invested in that, and I was like, the fans like, oh, like, like when the 2 count happened, like, I was so close to, like, erupt and not. That was the last time I saw like something like that. So might have been because of my passion for Kofi, and might have been for my passion for Cesaro, but I was really into those matches. And this has been really weird for the last I've been saying like how we were riding a good wave of pay-per-views. It's really weird though, and Delisha is always rating it lower than I do. I always have the harshest rating in these, but I'm gonna give this one a B plus. Yeah, that's what Delisha and I were saying. Why did he attack at the end of the match big time? There's no point. But yeah, I'm gonna give it a B plus. Like this is so weird. For the last few pay-per-views, I think I've been outrating Delisha, like giving a higher rating, which never happens. If you go back to the 4 past years of AfterMat, I've always given a lower grade. But the last few pay-per-views I've really enjoyed, surprisingly. So
Becoming jaded. That's why.
I'm enjoying it. Like, hey, they're putting out good content, so I'm gonna enjoy it while I can until it gets awful again. Until we bring back the evening gown matches and the wet T-shirt contests and the whatever else they do.
No.
That's
Don't put that energy out there.
Hey, you never know. I gotta start giving bad grades out again, and that's the way to do it. C plus to a B. Yeah, it was a lot better than I thought it would be. So I think what happens is we're going in with low expectations, and when it outlives our expectations, that's why I'm giving it a higher grade. I went in with like a D expectation, so that's why I gave it a B plus. It outlived it by a lot, but I don't know. All right, Delisha, where can we find you? I don't think I saw a new video from you as of late. From your latest
No, I put one out last week, not this week. Yeah. Okay, I'm still learning my days, y'all. You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at DeliciaReneeTV. As alluded to by Cal, I do put out videos. A lot of it is more like healthy recipe videos, but I'm trying to get back into vlogging. But as I'm still being at home, there's not much to vlog unless you want to see me play with my cats. But I am doing a change of schedule. Instead of weekly for the next couple of months, like maybe until July, I am going to go to bi-weekly, as there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that I have to prepare for, and it's really kind of taken away from my time to editing videos to put out on a weekly basis. So bi-weekly, I still struggle with an actual release date, but usually a Sunday or a Wednesday is when you will get a video from me. And that's it.
Yeah, and as for me, oh yeah, don't forget all her information is located in the description below, so make sure to check her out. The next time you'll see us here on AfterMat is on June 21st, because Hell in a Cell will be on June 20th. As for me, though, I might be streaming again, because like I said, I won't be streaming until I see a game that I like, and there is a game being released in early June. I might be able to stream it the Friday, and then maybe the next few days after that. It's a relatively short game, but we'll see if I can get it on time and all that, and I'll be able to stream it. And I'm really excited for that. And then I'll probably maybe get it done before the next AfterMat. We'll see, because it's a relatively short game. From what I hear, it's only like a few chapters. But we'll check it out. I should be returning to streaming maybe on June 11th, because the game releases on June 10th. So we'll see. But we will be away, right? We're going to be away for the first week of June for us. Not that we have AfterMat, but maybe we could vlog something for you for the channel or something while we're away. We're going to our friend's wedding, so we'll be there together. So I guess that's it. So the next time you guys will see us is at Hell in a Cell AfterMat, which is on June 21st. Until then, guys, keep slamming the haters and enjoy and be the champion of your dreams. Latest.
Till I get up, time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. my shadow turns to sun rays, and on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll turn us to thousands.